justice, let's rise. Across the wire, through the storm, we won't conform, we won't be warned. Every voice, every sign, we draw the waking line. Screens light up, the message clear. No more running, no more fear. From the ashes, from the night, we carry forward burning light. Dark to light, night to dawn. Truth lives on. We press on. We rise from dark to light. Cut through the lies, ignite. Truth breaking through the noise. Justice in our voice. From the silence to the fight. We stand together in the light. This is dawning justice, let's rise. This is dawning justice, let's rise.
And good morning, good morning, good morning. I am Josh the Justice Cometh, and this is Dawning Justice. This is your morning news recap, decode, and drop show. So welcome in, everybody. It's been just a minute since I have been online because we've had all kinds of stuff going on. We've had our 8th grandbaby. We've had Noah graduating. We went out of town for a little while. Yes, I am red. I did get a little bit of sun, so I kind of got the raccoon eyes going on. So thank you guys so much for taking it easy on me today. Nabil said I'm colorblind, so I can't tell anyways. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. So thank you everybody for piling in this morning. Gosh, guys, it just seems like every single day more and more and more and more news is going on, and it's just non-stop 24/7. So what we're going to do this morning is I'm going to go through a couple of things on our Truth or Media store. I'm going to go through our sponsor real quick, and because it's very, very good product, and you guys need to try it if you haven't tried it. So we'll go over that for a little bit, and then we're going to go through a daily devotional through from Signal Over Noise that I read this morning, and I very, very much enjoyed. So we are broadcasting from Rumble today. So if you're in my Rumble chat, I already see the Rumblers going. Give me that thumbs up. Give me that repost. Did you know you can repost on Rumble? Didn't know that till probably about a month ago. So hit that repost for me. Let's get some more butts in the seats. And we are also broadcasting from X. So my X family is being quite excellent over there this morning. They're already over there in the chat, chatting away. And we're also broadcasting on YouTube. So if you're joining us, if you're one of my tubers, give me that thumbs up. Share my show out there to some of your friends saying, you might want to check this show out because it's actually pretty decent. You know, it's not just all this far out stuff. You know, we just kind of do a quick little wrap up. I say quick, you know, I originally the show premise was to keep it under an hour, and it seems like there's just so much going on. I go to like 2 hours. But I try to keep it at 2 hours because not everybody has all day to watch me. So I completely understand. And we're also broadcasting from Facebook. So I already see some of my Facebook people out there giving us some love. So give us that heart. Share our show out there. I would very, very much appreciate it. And we are viewer funded. So on whatever platform that you're on, if you decide to help us keep it on mission and keep the show going, we very much appreciate everything that you do for us. If you don't know how to give, you can just go to www.tracingjustice.com and hit how to give. There's all kinds of ways. So we very much appreciate everyone staying, helping us stay on track and on mission. Let's see, what else do we have here? I have to go through my notes because if I don't, I like forget stuff all the time because I'm approaching 50 years old. I mean, I know you can't tell or nothing like that, but I am getting a little bit older. Let's see here. So, guys, let's go through the chat real quick. So we have a pill chatter from pill.net. And so if you are one of my red pill poppers over there, make sure you drop me a little line saying, hey, how's it going? But we've got, uh, well, I probably am not going to repeat that one. So I think we got kind of a troll over there. So we'll just kind of let that one rest a little bit. But let's go through our X chat this morning. So we've got Neville checking in. Good morning at Adelanita 0711. Good morning. And Freedom Fire, part of our Truther Media team. Hey, and I'm telling you what, guys. I'm going to be on Signal, or Signal Over Noise Friday at 8 p.m. with Freedom Fire and Courteous Maximus. You need to watch that show. I'm telling you, we got some bombshells coming out over there. So you need to check out that show. All right, and let's see who else we got coming in. Dina Lee, good morning, and Tony Logo, good morning, and Lana checking in over there, good morning. And let's see, who else do we got going over here? Hey, Lana over there on Facebook land. So thank you so much for checking in over there. And let's go through our Rumble chat, guys. I got to scroll up. So Tense15 was the very first person in this morning. Good morning, friends, and welcome back, Josh. And congratulations to Noah. So if you guys don't know, Noah graduated, our son graduated from high school. And so he wanted to take a little bit of a trip. So we went on a little bit of a trip this weekend. It was very low key. We just kind of went to the beach, and hence why I'm red. We were at the beach the other day, and Tracy loves the beach. And I was looking at myself, and I'm like, listen, I said, we're going on hour number 4 of being out on the beach. Hey, Monica, good morning over there on YouTube. Tracy, good morning over there on Facebook. Thank you for checking in. But we're sitting there, and I'm like, I probably need to go in for a little bit, and I doused myself with sunblock, and guys, I know sunblock's not good for you, but I mean, I got to be able to protect my skin somehow, because if I'm laid up in the bed sunburnt, then I'm not on Dawning Justice. So I was like, we better go in for a little bit. And she was like, oh my gosh. And so I got back into the room. And she was like, oh my gosh, you are red. And I said, I told you. So, but we went back out to the beach for a little while. We went to the beach for a couple of days. And the thing that stinks is, did you know if they put up certain flags and you're in the water, that they can actually fine you for that? Craziest thing I ever heard of. But anyways, so Patriotic Lupa checking in over there on Rumble. Good morning. And Debbie V57 also says good morning. Nana2112, good morning, checking in here. And part of our Truther Media Mod Squad, USAID paid, checking in. Good morning. Guys, sorry, I'm a little bit off my game this morning. My gosh. Julie Donuts, part of our Truther Media team. Good morning, Krusty Crew. Is that a Krusty Donut? I couldn't tell because I see a little donut right there in the chat. And she said, good morning, Krusty Crew. I know what she's talking about, the Krusty Krab and all that. So good morning. And let's see who else we got in here. American GG, good morning. Cassie J, good morning, everyone. Mac 5x5, my brother from down under. So welcome in. I think that's going to wrap up the chat, guys. And let's just not forget that Dawning Justice is brought to you by justiceshrooms.com and justicepetclub.com. So if you want to get your check-in engine light and your pet's check engine light turned off, I suggest you check those out and get you and your pet back in balance. Okay, now you say, well, how do I do that? Okay, so first off, you got to go to the website, justiceshrooms.com for you and justicepetclub.com for your pets. And here's what I tell everybody to check out, okay? This is the one thing that you need to be taken out of all the products, and it's the cheapest out there too. It's turkey tail mushroom. It's the Enforce Coriolis versicolor. Guys, you know I'm horrible with pronunciations. I can't even pronounce. Also known as turkey tail, is a powerful mushroom renowned for its immune modulating properties. Rich in natural, can't say it, guys. Sorry. PSA and PSP, it helps support, regulate the body's immune response. Studies have shown it can enhance the activity of natural killer cells, T cells, making it especially valuable as an adjunct in therapy. In addition to its immune benefits, Coriolis promotes gut health by acting as a prebiotic, supports antioxidant activity, and may reduce inflammation. It is a trusted natural ally in both traditional and modern wellness practices. So, guys, I was saying this. We had a couple weeks ago. We had a Tracing Justice with our sponsor on, and we were talking about their products and everything like that. Angelic, I can see your responses over there on X, so we're 5-5 there. So I was talking about this product, and the guys over there said, "This is the one you need to be taking. This is the one you need to be taking." Because this one will get you back into balance. Everything else, it kind of builds off each other. Like we've got one for clarity to kind of clear up the brain fog and get your brain back in balance. And there's so many other things. But let's watch this quick clip about the green bottle. Okay, guys? So give me just 1 second. Let me get that pulled up for you. There we go.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolis versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
Good morning, R. Pierce checking in to our Rumble chat, and Yeet Force is also checking in, part of our Truth or Media mod squad over there. So thank you guys so much. So just check it out, justiceshrooms.com and justicepetclub.com to get you and your pet's body back in balance. Man, this feels like a Monday to me, guys. I swear, it's like I'm getting all tongue-tied and everything this morning. But hey, guys, I am human. So one other thing I did want to talk about before we start getting into the news and our daily devotional is I want to talk about our website, truthermedia.com. So we, as you know, Truth or Media, a lot of us are going to Washington, D.C., for the July 4th celebration. So Tracy's like, we need some merch to offer people because they're going to want to wear it up there. They're going to want to, wear it just everywhere. You guys have been kind of asking us about merch. Well, we finally got our store online. So you just go to truthermedia.com, truthermedia.com, click on the green shop link. And guys, here's what you can find there. So we've got this cool shirt right here. It says Defend the Truth. America deserves it. And we've also got this shirt for ladies. Look, Tracy designed this one right here. Defend the truth, Truth or Media. And both of these shirts have our Truth or Media logo on the back. It says America deserves the truth. Now, I did see a comment saying, hey, Justice, I'm a girl. I love V-neck shirts. So let me try to get one put together for you. I'll try to get that done in the next couple of days because I know a lot of the women love the V-necks out there. Now, here is another cool shirt that we've got. Now, you heard me talking about America's 250. So it says, God bless America, the spirit lives on. Truth or Media, Washington, D.C., 1776 through 2026. And this hat right here, ladies, is your hat. So it's kind of distressed looking, and it's kind of older looking, which I like. But guys, look, it's got the ponytail opening for it. I have never seen a hat in this movement yet with the ponytail opening in it. So check that out. And speaking of hats, we've got our Truth or Media America's 250 hat, but look at the side of this thing. We've got that 250 logo on it for you. We've also got this hat, Save the Republic, 1776 through 2026. And also you've got the America's 250 logo on the side of it as well. So check that one out. And this is my personal favorite. And guys, remember, all these hats come in all different colors. And this is that cranberry hat. And it says America's 250, 1776 through 2026. And also you see right there that it has got the America's 250 logo on the side of it as well. Now, guys, one thing I do want you to remember, okay, on these hats, they're going to be about $30. It's because I've got so much going on the hats. I've got some stuff on the sides, the front. Some of these things have got stuff on the back. They're very high quality stuff. So check them out. See what you think about them. If you like them, put your order through. And when you get it, post it up on X. Send me a message saying, I got my hat. I love it. So check it out. And remember, go to truthermedia.com and hit that little green shop button. It'll take you right to the store. All right, so let's get in to the meat and potatoes of everything. And guess what the meat and potatoes is? It's our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So let's go ahead and read our daily devotional from Signal Over Noise. Signal Over Noise says, The Great Awakening. Throughout history, God has moved in extraordinary ways when ordinary people humbled themselves and sought Him. Revivals have never begun in palaces. They have never begun in governments. They have never begun through wealth or power. They began when hearts awakened, when people repented, when believers prayed, when God's people became hungry for His presence again. Today, our world is filled with noise. But beneath the noise, there is a growing hunger. People are searching for hope. People are searching for truth. Searching for something that politics, success, and possessions can never provide. And perhaps that is why many believers sense that God is stirring hearts once again. Not towards religion, towards Him. The great awakenings of the past transformed families, churches, communities, and nations. But every awakening began the same way, one surrendered heart at a time. Revival is not merely something we pray for others to experience. It begins with us. It begins when we open God's Word, when we seek His face, when we choose obedience over compromise, when we become willing vessels for His Spirit. The greatest awakening may not start in a stadium. It may begin quietly in a prayer closet, at a kitchen table, in a church pew, or in the heart reading this post right now. Will Thou not revive us again, that thy people may rejoice in thee. Psalms 85:6. Lord, awaken your people, revive your church, and let your light shine once again. And you can see right there the Great Awakening. It's not just a movement, it's a prayer. If my people which are called by thy name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and will heal their land. And that's 2 Chronicles 7:14. Not by might, not by power, but my spirit, says the Lord. And that's Zechariah 4:6. One nation under God, one church on our knees, one generation for his glory. Revive us again, Lord, and let your light shine. That was absolutely amazing. You know, when Tracy and I started this journey, just one second, guys. When Tracy and I started this journey, it wasn't just about decodes and drops and things like that. You know, it was so weird because after I went on my first live with Jordan, even before I went on Jordan's show, and I was like, listen, man, I'm going to talk about God. I hope you're okay with that, you know, on your podcast. And he's like, oh, absolutely. And I said, because it's all tied together. It's all connected. As Seth says, it's all connected. Every single bit of it. And as you can see, as we're going through this Great Awakening, that you see all this evil out there. Evil has nowhere to hide anymore. Dark has become light. People are now seeing the evilness that has run this world for centuries. And we're fighting back now. But what did Trump just do? He rededicated America back to God. America got on its knees and asked for forgiveness and to heal our land. And that is what is happening right now. That is why you are needed. You are needed in this fight to win souls to the Lord. We need you out there witnessing to people, not just trying to red pill people, but I like calling it white pill people too. We need to be dosing up the white pills and the red pills. Because this is a two-pronged fight. It's an informational war, and it's a spiritual war. Plain and simple. So many people have come back to the Lord through this movement. It is absolutely stunning to see. So don't forget about the real mission. The number one mission. That's to spread God's good word that he sent his one and only son to die on the cross for all of our sins and to tell everybody about it. So let's catch back up with the chat. So Cardius Maximus checking in, one of our Truther Media podcasters. And I'm going to be on Signal Over Noise with him Friday night. So welcome in, Cardius. And Leanne999 checking in. Onward Truth checking in. A Dutch Rumbler checking in. Very classy looking, Josh. I assume you're talking about my tan. I wouldn't say it's classy, but it's something. Mr. Texas Grass checking in over there on YouTube. So welcome in there. And let's see here. Who else? Did I miss anybody? If I did, Tammy For Real checking in over there on Rumble. So welcome in. All right, guys, we have got, let me do something real quick because something is going on. There we go. Okay. Oh, Scout Mom just checked in. Good morning. Good morning. And a Dutch Rumbler said, hi, Josh. The hats love. Yeah, absolutely. Check those things out. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into the news now. Let's go ahead and dive in because we're 25 minutes in a news show and I'm getting to my first news clip. So So Glenn Beck says Bill Gates has apparently spent years purchasing customized mannequins to test out different outfits for him to change his public appearance. Huh, I wonder why he'd need to do that. Dude, it's not your outfit. I don't think dressing up like Mr. Rogers will change the public's view about your 2009 Event 201 pandemic simulation hosted in partnership with the Gates Foundation months before an actual pandemic broke out. Or how you're the single largest owner of private farmland in the U.S. Or your connections to Jeffrey Epstein, which you'll be testifying in Congress about very, very soon. So let's listen to Glenn Beck.
So Bill Gates has apparently spent years now trying to keep, they have actually purchased customized mannequins to test out different outfits for him to change his public opinion. Dude, it's not your outfit. It really is not. They have spent decades now trying to change the way he looks, transform him from the, architect of the blue screen of death, into something wearing a cardigan. Just, he's an oracle of compassion. That's what he is. And it's not working. It's not money well spent.
Christy Lanier over there on
be,
X. Thank you for checking in. Tony,
literally,
thank you for checking in.
Mr. Rogers. They're trying to make him look like Mr. Rogers. It's like taking Darth Vader and saying, you know what, take off the helmet and the cape. We're going to put a sweater on you and maybe some glasses. And you're still going, I am your father. Nobody's buying that. It's still Darth Vader, dude. It's still Darth Vader. But, if you watch him now, the gentle blinking, a little like Clippy, the paper clip, the measured pauses, the soft, reassuring tone, that one thoughtful head tilt. I don't know. It's like, he's offering you cookies instead of a polio vaccine that will probably put polio into the water. I don't know. This is product placement. Product placement. This is one of the spookiest things I've heard. You have to read this story. We have it in our show prep today about all the things they're doing, to make him look like Mr. Rogers.
Hey, Rena,
so
thank you over there on X for checking in and
he knows what's
repost.
best for you and your children, because he's going to take care of you, your farm and your future, Meanwhile, he's buying up all of the farms. And what was it, 2019, he had the Gates Foundation had the Event 201, where they had the global pandemic thing. And then a couple months later, a global pandemic, and they're following the script, and he's on, the screen in his sweater and the little clippy eye blink and just lockdown and mask. That's what we have to do, and try my preferred vaccines. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. And he's going to save us from climate disaster because he's very generous. He's bought up all the farmland. He's the biggest landowner now in the country because, hey, we all have to make sacrifices. And so you sacrifice your farm to him, and he'll make sure we're all good. And then the insects, we got the insects too that he's doing. That'll be good. And we'll all own nothing, and we'll feel good about it. And he'll feel prophetic, and he'll own all the fields, and it'll be good. And he'll look like Mr. Rogers, except when he gets on the Jeffrey Epstein plane, which, kind of it's a mistake. I don't know if that was a mistake, really. That's like saying the Titanic was a navigational inconvenience. No, you got on the plane to go to Pedophile Island, and we're going to trust you with vaccines now and our children? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No matter how much you spend on your public perception. And they're doing this. This is coming out now because he's going to go testify in front of Congress, about what happened on Pedophile Island, which, good luck with that. Good luck with that. But meanwhile, Mr. Rogers, he wants to be our neighbor by buying up all of the property around you, your harvest, your health, your horizons. And he looks just so darn trustworthy, doesn't he? What an idiot. Look how much money this guy has spent, and none of it has been effective. None of it.
Hey, Donnie, over there on Rumble, thanks for checking in. I think that's hilarious. I mean, it is, but it's not. Hey, Messi, thank you for checking in over there on X. It's hilarious, but it's not because of everything that he's done to us. Crimes against humanity will not get forgotten about. We will not forget what they did to us during COVID-19. Not one bit. And he's trying to change his image to look like this likable guy. And there's one other thing. Hey, DC Panic, welcome checking in over there on X. The one thing that you have to remember, and I want you to really take this away and kind of connect it with another story I'm going to have later, in data centers. Did you just hear that he is the leader in farmland ownership in the United States? So we're seeing a bunch of these reports coming out. I have yet to see any proof on this, hard proof that this is actually happening. But, I see rando videos and things like that, but nothing's ever sourced. No articles ever sourced from it stating this and this and this, that they're actually taking farmland for these data centers. But you just heard that Bill Gates is the number one owner in farmland in America. So if I was Trump and you go back and look at his EO, we're going to be going over all this in Tracing Justice Thursday, okay? But if you go back and look at his EO, he said that we're going to be using government land for these new data centers. Executive Order 13818. Executive Order 13848. Seizure of property when a company is involved in human trafficking. Just keep that in mind when we go over this news story later, okay? Yeah, Coffee Gal 1776, thanks for checking in over there on Rumble and seizing all his assets. That is 100% correct. So let's listen to Dan Bongino here. Because Jesse Waters says must watch. Dan Bongino just destroyed the Democrats' party bench. I miss a good old-fashioned campaign scandal. Remember like a binder full of women's resumes and Bill Clinton, like you smoke a doobie and it was like no big deal? Now we got a guy who's literally got a Nazi tattoo. A freaking Nazi tattoo. Hey, Relay of Patriot, thanks for checking in over there on Rumble, part of our Truther Media podcasting team, so thank you so much.
Let's start with Graham Plattner, Bongino. What do you think of that guy?
Yeah. By the way, I miss a good old-fashioned campaign scandal. Remember, like, a binder full of women's resumes and Bill Clinton, like, you smoke a doobie, and it was, like, a big deal. Now we got a guy who's got, like, and I love, like, the left-wing media, like, well, it resembles a Nazi tattoo. Well, the reason it resembles a Nazi tattoo is because it's a freaking Nazi tattoo, okay? Jesse, I've got a lot of tattoos. Some of them are really bad. One of them's actually a cover job because the one beneath it was so bad. I promise you, the one beneath it was never a Nazi tattoo. And when I walked in and said, I don't like this tattoo, can I get a cover job? He said, hey, you either need that big black dot or an eagle. He never said, I've got an idea. How about a big black Nazi tattoo? Like, that's not a thing. The fact that this guy is even a thing speaks to possibly the worst slate of Democrat candidates, forget Democrats, candidates I have ever seen. This guy's hogging all the air out of the room, but the truth is, you got the vegan cisgender guy in Texas, a freaking vegan, where you can get hurt in Texas for arguing that you like extra moist over regular brisket, not arguing over like, hey man, I don't eat meat in Texas. Like, are you crazy? Did you ever hear like Sam Houston, Jim Bowie, Davy Crockett, that little thing like the Alamo? Like, they don't screw around. And then you've got the guy in Michigan, Abdul El-Sayed, who's running around campaigning with Hassan Piker, who was like, yeah, the whole rape on October 7th thing doesn't really bother me too much. Like, really, I miss the days of an old scandal about smoking a doobie. We need those back.
Oh my gosh, guys. They are running out of people to run. I mean, literally, they didn't think that we would find out about that. It's almost comical at this point. They are literally running out of people. It's like the old football, the old football saying. It's like you're looking over at the bench. It's empty. Courteous Maximus says, "Who the heck wants a dry brisket?" Evident. I don't know. I don't even know those people exist out there that want a dry brisket. Mr. Texas Grass over there on YouTube says, "Texas, you can't beat our meat." Oh my gosh, guys. It's just, the desperation is so unreal at this point of the people that they're trotting out and trying to run as a Democrat right now. Unbelievable. The Storm Has Arrived reports John Solomon is reporting that EPA Chief Lee Zeldin revealed to him that in an interview today that he has made several criminal referrals to the DOJ after discovering that Obama and Biden officials were moving money, $29 billion, not million, billion in green energy grants around to former cabinet secretaries, donors, and political advocates. He told me today that he found a major self-dealing scandal. Obama and Biden administration officials were moving money around to former cabinet secretaries, to donors, and political activists. Stacey Abrams was one of them. And that he's now made several criminal referrals. They were stealing your hard-earned money and giving it all to their elitist buddies. Why does anyone still pay taxes? And that is the $1 million question.
Today, I interviewed Lee Zeldin, the EPA chief, and he said that he's been digging into that $29 billion in green energy grants that he blocked, money that he saved the American taxpayers. It was going out the door at the end of the Biden administration. He told me today he has found a major self-dealing scandal. In other words, Obama and Biden administration officials were moving money around to former cabinet secretaries, to donors, to political activists. Stacey Abrams, one of them. We know about that from our reporting earlier this year. And that he's now made several criminal referrals. Go check out that story tomorrow morning at justthenews.com. We'll have all the details, all of the receipts from that.
So do you remember, I think it was in Biden's last year in his presidency, do you remember John Podesta coming back into the news? And John Podesta was like the, I think he was the new climate czar, and he was in charge of all the appropriations. Hey, Sarah, thank you for checking in over there on Facebook. I appreciate that. And he was in charge of moving all the money around. John Podesta. Hey, guys, Podesta is at the very core of all of this. Hey, Kanon Andrea, good morning, and thank you for checking in over there on X. So don't forget about that story. I think John Podesta's name might just come back up in this news story we just looked at. So, also, John Solomon reports explosive. Was the Hunter Biden laptop letter a U.S. intelligence op? John Solomon reports that a former intelligence official found indicators of a coordinated deception campaign behind the infamous 51 signer letter. The matter has now been referred to the DOJ.
Here with you on the links of the former intelligence officials who wrote that famous Hunter Biden laptop letter meddling in the 2020 election. How far they went to hide the truth about Hunter Biden's laptop from the American people, making us think that it was a Russian operation when in fact it was a legitimate laptop in the hands of the FBI already authenticated. Now, we know so much about this. We know it was politically motivated. We know that it was not based on any intelligence whatsoever. But now we're beginning to learn it may have had all the hallmarks, get a load of this, of a professional U.S. intelligence deception operation. Let's let that sink in for a second. Yes, it's very possible that the tools of the U.S. intelligence community were turned against you to try to influence you in October 2020 to vote against Donald Trump and for President Trump. Why is that? A former senior intelligence committee official who worked under President Barack Obama reported concerns earlier this year that the Hunter Biden laptop letters signed by those 51 alleged intelligence experts, many of them former intelligence officials, bore characteristics consistent with coordinated intelligence deception operations. That's a direct quote from the letter that we obtained here at Just the News. According to a memo the ex-official submitted to the Intelligence Committee Inspector General. Now, those concerns have now been referred to the Justice Department. Now, the October 2020 open letter released as voters were making their final decisions between Trump and Biden in the 2020 election was signed by ex-intelligence officials, including former National Intelligence Director James Clapper, former Defense Secretary Leanne Panetta, former CIA Director John Brennan, and it was organized by John Brennan's former deputy, Mike Morrell. Now, Thomas Coons, the former official who submitted the memo, recently wrote to the Intelligence Committee Inspector General that he was a senior intelligence officer and former advisor to the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence, during the Obama administration. Coons told the Inspector General that most of his career in government centered on maintaining the Intelligence Committee's analytic integrity standards. He was in charge of making sure we had good intel. Now, Coons wrote in the memo that the assessment is not a political statement when he reviewed all this. It is based on the research and analysis of testified behavior, language choices, omissions, coordination, and effects attributable to intelligence tradecraft. In other words, the very things he knew as an intelligence expert, he looked at this memo and says, this looks like an operation. In just a little bit, you're going to get to meet Thomas Coons for the first time. We're going to talk to him and ask him about what he found and his reaction to the decision to refer this to the Justice Department. Now, one more piece of a...
So you're telling me that our intelligence was actually working against the people of the United States and covering up the Hunter laptop? No. You don't say. And again, guys, all this disclosure is not for us. We've went through this. We know this. Hey, Bibby's Barn, thank you for checking in, and JPNO checking in over there on Rumble. So thank you so much. You don't say, folks. These people are going down. There's a reason that John Brennan and James Comey were both on the 9/11 post with the towers. I'm telling you, these people will fall in the fall. I think that we're going to have a very hot summer. We're going to have a summer of love redo, as we're already seeing out there. There's already protests getting way out of hand out there. Hey, Lana, thank you for checking in over there on Facebook. I appreciate it. We're going to see the summer of love redo. It's not going to be pretty. But just rest assured that patriots are in control. They're in control of our law enforcement now. They're in control of Border Patrol. They're in control of ICE. Patriots are in control right now. We are in control of the White House. We're in control of the military. We're in control of the National Guard. Patriots are in control. All right, as we move on here, Trump supporter post bombshell expose. The DOJ has unveiled the largest Medicaid fraud bust in U.S. history, charging three... Guys, I want you to process this while I read this, okay? Hey, Make It Make Sense. Thank you for checking in over there on YouTube. Guys, process this as I read this to you. And I'm going to start over, okay? The DOJ has unveiled the largest Medicaid fraud bust in U.S. history, charging 324 defendants for their involvement in a staggering, and this is not million, people, this is billions, $14.6 billion healthcare fraud scheme, which involved false claims submitted to Medicare and Medicaid. Holy crap. Let's watch this clip.
Thank you all for joining us today as we announce the largest coordinated healthcare fraud takedown in the history of the Department of Justice. Today marks a decisive moment in our fight to protect American taxpayers from fraudsters and to defend the integrity of America's healthcare system. We are announcing today charges against 324 defendants for their alleged participation in healthcare fraud schemes involving approximately $14.6 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other healthcare programs. In a takedown this large, I can't possibly describe all of the work that went into dismantling each scheme, but there are 4 key points that bear emphasizing. First, let me be clear about what these healthcare fraud schemes mean for every hardworking American family. These criminals didn't just steal someone else's money. They stole from you. Every fraudulent claim, every fake billing, every kickback scheme represents money taken directly from the pockets of American taxpayers who fund these essential programs through their hard work and sacrifice. And when criminals defraud these programs, they're not just committing theft. They're driving up our national deficit and threatening the long-term viability of healthcare for seniors, disabled Americans, and our
Donnie
most
says, "Oh,
vulnerable
fraudicare."
citizens.
I agree.
This enforcement action involves the seizure of cash, as well as luxury vehicles and properties, returning real money to American taxpayers and to our government healthcare programs. Second, we are seeing a disturbing trend of transnational criminal organizations engaging in increasingly sophisticated and complex criminal schemes that defraud the American healthcare system. As part of this takedown, we've identified and charged defendants operating from Russia, Eastern Europe, Pakistan, and other foreign countries. These individuals have infiltrated our healthcare system to steal American taxpayer dollars. As just one example, we dismantled a scheme involving a sophisticated operation run from Russia and Eastern Europe that strategically bought dozens of medical supply companies in the United States and submitted more than $10 billion in fraudulent healthcare claims to Medicare. To make matters worse, these perpetrators used the stolen identities of more than 1 million Americans spanning all 50 states to perpetrate this scheme and submit these false claims. But I'm pleased to report that federal agents intercepted
Hey, Kelly,
and
Jen
arrested
over there
key
on that.
members
Appreciate it.
of that organization at U.S. airports and the U.S.-Mexico border, cutting off their intended escape routes. The days of transnational criminal organizations using the American healthcare programs as their personal piggy bank are over. Third, this takedown resulted in criminal charges against 74 defendants, including medical professionals who fueled America's deadly opioid crisis for personal profit. These are not isolated instances of poor judgment. These are calculated schemes designed to exploit Americans struggling with addiction while enriching the very people who were duty-bound to help them heal. We charged pill mill operators who prescribed unnecessary opioids. We dismantled networks of corrupt pharmacies that existed solely to distribute drugs to addicts and dealers, feeding the addiction crisis that has devastated so many American communities. This is not healthcare. It is a staggering breach of trust. And under my leadership, the criminal division will prosecute these criminals as aggressively as we would any drug dealer, because that's exactly what they are. Fourth, many of the defendants charged as part of this takedown specifically targeted our most vulnerable citizens, elderly Americans in nursing homes, individuals with disabilities, those battling serious illnesses, and more. For example, our prosecutors charged 7 defendants, including 5 medical professionals, in connection with approximately $1 billion in fraudulent claims to Medicare and other healthcare benefit programs for performing medically unnecessary skin grafts on dying patients as they were seeking to spend their final days with dignity and peace. That conduct is exactly as callous and disturbing as it sounds. Patients and their families trusted these providers with their lives. Instead of receiving care, they became victims of elaborate criminal schemes. Today's enforcement action represents the largest healthcare fraud takedown in American history. But it's not the end. It's the beginning of a new era of aggressive prosecution and data-driven prevention. Thank you.
Guys, this is the kind of stuff that is not reported on by the MSM. Why? Because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know what they've been trying to cover up for years. Why do you think that our healthcare is so expensive? Hey, Cynthia, over there on X, good morning. Welcome in. If we did not have all this fraud in our healthcare system and all these illegals and everything, sucking on the tit of the government and getting everything for free, their free healthcare and all that, guys, somebody has to pay for that. You know who pays for it? You do. And high healthcare premiums and high copays, they have to make up their money somewhere. They do it through government grants too, and government kickbacks and all that. Hey, Cindy Rocks 260, thank you for checking in over there on X. Because the funnel of money has to go somewhere. And guess what? All of these lobbyists out there, then they start cutting checks to all these government officials that push through all this mess. So, can you imagine a world? Because it's not been so long ago. When I worked for Home Depot years and years and years and years ago, I paid like $15 every 2 weeks for healthcare. And it was good healthcare too. It wasn't just crappy healthcare. It was good healthcare. We can get back to that. But we've got to do stuff like this. And we have to tell our friends about it. Hey, did you see where all of this Medicaid fraud just got busted? Yeah, 324 people just got arrested for $14.7 billion in Medicare fraud. Huh. Everybody's out there saying, oh, nothing's happening. Nobody's getting arrested. I think sometimes in our movement, we get so focused on these big names and we want these huge arrests. But what people forget is we've got to clean up our country too. Those big arrests are going to come at the very end. Because X leads to Y, leads to Z. 1 leads to 2, leads to 3. When does a bird sing? You have to remember that, people. And you've got to educate your friends like that too and think like that. All right. So we got some more John Solomon news. Breaking: Obama-era Intel official drops bombshell. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. We have already looked at that one. My bad. Like I said, this is my Monday. FBI Director Kash Patel says President Trump's law enforcement team is wiping out criminal networks in America at levels never seen before. And let's watch this clip.
There's a war being fought for our neighborhoods, and the FBI is leading the charge. By backing local cops and launching massive joint task forces, they're leading an all-out assault on the thugs tearing our communities apart. Working hand in hand, they've hunted down and locked up more than 45,000 violent criminals. Because of that relentless push, Violent crime arrests are up 185%, and the national murder rate just hit its lowest level since 1937. Take a second and let that sink in. 1937. It means your risk of being a victim's dropped at the fastest rate in modern history. Violent crime plunged 10% nationwide, and the FBI didn't stop there. They went straight after the syndicates, completely wiping 2,450 street gangs off the map. That 322% increase choked off their ability to terrorize your communities, so you and your family could walk the streets in peace. And the poison flooding our streets? 2,600 kilograms of deadly fentanyl were seized. A 56% increase, wiping more than 1 billion lethal doses completely off our streets. So many lives saved. We're trouncing the Biden administration's best years. People can argue all they want, but the numbers don't lie. With the FBI leading the charge, our streets are being reclaimed and our families are finally protected.
There is a reason that Kash Patel is in the drops. Kash Patel, a name to remember. Q. That's the kind of stuff that we also have to tell our friends and family about. You know, when everybody's saying, oh, nothing's happening and blah, 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 we have to clean up our streets too. We have to clean up all these drug deals going down, and we've got to clean up all this Medicare fraud. I saw a Patriotic Lupus said in the Rumble chat, working in healthcare for over 30 years and seeing all the illegals with Medicaid still grates, especially when you see the elderly that can't afford their meds. Can you imagine? A lot of us aren't at retirement yet. We're getting there, but we ain't there yet. Can you imagine working all your life and putting all this money into Medicare and Social Security to just when you retire, it's not even enough to live off of. You can't even get your medicines paid for that you need. And you've got to buy this supplemental insurance every month that'll come out of your Social Security check just to even have an opportunity to have decent health care. That shit's coming to an end, folks. I'm telling you right now, it will come to an end. But we have to do things like this first. We have to get it all cleaned up. If you want to cut off the head of the snake, you've got to bleed it. You've got to cut off its money flow. You've got to cut off all these illegal drugs pouring into our communities and degrading our family units, causing divorces. I mean, it's all connected, people. This is biblical. Patriotic Lupus said, yes, it will. Trust in Trump. Absolutely. Yeah, Tony says over there on X, I was reading the chat. He said, yeah, I watched my dad do it, and he has to drive a school bus to make ends meet. That is insane. Hey, Danny B, thank you for checking in over there on YouTube. I appreciate it. Absolutely insane, guys. All right, let's move on. Gunther reports multiple vote-by-mail ballots just got torched inside a ballot box in Los Angeles 2 days before the California primaries. Election officials found the burn mess, filed a police report, and now they're investigating a second vandalized voting center. Real convenient timing, huh? This is exactly why sane people have been screaming about massive risks of mail-in voting. Time to end the mail-in ballots.
Inside a ballot box in Los Angeles, just 2 days before the California primaries, election officials discovered the damaged ballots, and they filed a report with the police department. They say a separate voting center was also vandalized. Investigators are looking into both incidents and are working to identify any voters who have been affected. And the United States men's soccer team kicking off their World Cup campaign.
No, it hasn't really. The World Cup hasn't really started. This is just preseason, friendly games.
Sorry, don't give a crap about soccer. So, you know, you've got Spencer Pratt out there. This is a big day for voting, people. If you are in any of these states that have your primaries today, go vote. Q says vote, vote, vote. Your vote matters. Don't let all this mail-in stuff get you distracted. Get out there, get in line, and go vote. This year is one of the most important years in our country's history. We've got to get all these rhinos out. We've got to get all these mayors out. We've got to get all these corrupt individuals out of our governments. You must go vote. Without your vote, they could easily steal it. Courteous, I'm not going to say that one. If you're over there in the Rumble chat, you can see it for yourself. Yeah, Sarah says over there on Facebook, it's our civic duty. It's the one thing that our government asks us to do is go vote. That's all we got to do is go vote. I know we got to pay taxes and all that. Hopefully that's coming to an end as well. But we have to go vote. That's what makes our country go. Don't let all these black pillars discourage you from not going to vote. Freedom Fire 1776 says, me, I will be voting today. And C. Campbell 78 over on Rumble said, I'm in Iowa myself, and me and my lady are going after work. Thank you so much. And R. Pierce, yes, I am with you on soccer. Sorry, guys, I'm not a soccer fan. So let's go and move on to our next point. And this is a good one. Breaking, Government Ron DeSantis confirms a historic move to abolish property taxes for all Florida homeowners who live here as their primary residence. If you're a Florida resident, we want that to be tax-free. It's headed to voters on the ballot, and a schedule will be set to get rid of them. This ballot measure will do an opening salvo of raising the exemption to $250,000 adjusted for inflation, so they can't play games. That will be 60% of Florida's homesteaders tax free. So, for example, if your house is worth $250,000 or under, you will be exempt from property tax if this measure passes. Let's just listen to what Ron has to say.
Represent 4 straight years of spending reductions in the state of Florida, and we're very proud of that. But at the local level, which is where the property tax revenue goes, we've gone from local governments taking $32 billion in 2019 in taxes to now $60 billion. That's almost 100% increase in revenue. And look, part of it is people have moved here. Part of it is that property values have gone up. But homeowners need relief. And so it's my view that if you are a Florida resident and you have a homestead, we want that to be tax-free. And so that's our vision. That represents about 30% of the overall property tax revenue because they still tax investment property, commercial property. And so this ballot measure will do an opening salvo of raising it, the exemption to $250,000 adjusted for inflation, so they can't play games. That will be 60% of Florida homesteaders tax-free. Then as they raise it, the legislature will be able to raise that and have a process to do that. Once you get to $500,000 limit, that's 92% of homeowners, and then on it goes from there. But if we don't give homeowners relief, Maria, by 2032, they're going to be taking in $83 billion. So that would mean $32 billion in 2019. 13 years later, it goes to $83 billion. That is not sustainable. And so this is really a historic opportunity to have more money in people's pockets and to actually have their home be their private property that the government just can't use as a piggy bank.
I mean, guys, let's think about it. Property taxes are so insane. You go buy a house, but it's really not yours, even though you paid all this money for it, and even it says that you've got this deed to your house, and oh, this is my house now. Well, guess what? If you don't pay property taxes, the government can and will seize it. That's unconstitutional. I don't care any way that you look at it. It's unconstitutional. And I believe that Ron DeSantis was put in Florida to set the tone for the rest of the country in the way things need to be ran in a state. You've got to have a trendsetter, because now what's going to happen is people like, let's say in Tennessee, they start going to these town hall meetings and getting involved and saying, hey, why are we paying property taxes? Are you for paying property taxes? I haven't heard your opinion on it. Let's hear your opinion on property taxes. Yeah, Cynthia says, and they auction it out to the public, yeah, for pennies on the dollar too. And they let all their little buddies, just the rich, get richer. But anyways, so you get all these people starting to question your officials about it now. And then they say, maybe we need to vote somebody in that's going to get rid of these property taxes, because Florida's doing it. And maybe if you don't do it, maybe I'll just move to Florida and I'll take all my tax revenue with me. Yeah, Scout Mom says, I hope GA gets on board next. Mississippi, there's real common misconception out there, because I live in Mississippi. They're saying, oh, Mississippi's done away with property taxes. Not exactly true. It's a 20-year phase out. And I'm hoping that they go back and revisit this thing and, just cut it out altogether. It's kind of like slowly turning off the spigot. But here's what they're doing. And it's not really getting rid of the property tax it is, but they're raising gas prices and gas taxes to counteract it. Hey, Rob Stickler, thank you for checking in over there on pilled.net. Get rid of all the gravy-sucking politicians. That's exactly right. All right, let's move on to the next item up on the agenda. So, guys, real quick, before we move on, if you've been on X and you've been following me, I'm talking a lot about data centers right now. There is a mass coordinated event going on in our country right now to demonize data centers. I'm going to do a whole tracing justice on this, on data centers and what's actually going on, what the executive order says, and we're going to dive into it because a lot of people are fearing these data centers now. I'm going to give you some facts on some things. We're going to watch this video that Julie Donuts put out for us, but I want to go ahead and put some facts out there to you. Data centers are not a new thing. What do you think our internet rides on? What do you think that AI rides on? What do you think all these cloud services ride on? Data centers. A lot of you are scared because you're believing the propaganda out there. And just yesterday, I made an admission that everybody that come into my comments that I saw pushing against these data centers, oh, well, Justice, they're seizing farmland. Okay. Give me an address. Not even that. Give me a city and give me a roundabout area, because guess what? I can go look them up on the internet of where these data centers are at. Oh, Justice, they're putting them in right in the middle of all these neighborhoods, and give me an address. Nobody has yet to give me an address of where this is occurring. Nobody has given me hard evidence that they have seized farmland and that they are actually building these data centers. Now, somebody did give me some proposals that are out there in Tennessee. Okay? Those are proposals. They have not actually happened. Anybody can make a proposal. Now, let's think to ourselves. Okay? You're seeing all this negative propaganda out there about data centers right now. Why? Let's think to ourselves, why? We are in a global AI race right now. And guys, I know about half of you don't like AI and where it's, yeah, Cardius Maximus. Remember when I said Bill Gates farmland? Keep that in mind. Okay. So a lot of you don't like the AI push out there right now. Okay. A lot of you didn't like cell phones when they came out. A lot of you didn't like computers when they came out. Okay. If we want to be the leader in the world for our defense, if we want to be the crypto leader in the world, okay, if we want to be the financial leader in the world, if we want to lead in innovation in this world, we have to have the infrastructure to put behind it. Just like if you want to go from California to Florida and you drive, you've got to have an interstate. You can't just go on dirt roads and get all the way there to Florida. It'll take a long time. You could do it, but it'll take a long time. Tony, let me address that. You said South Haven, Mississippi. Yes, okay. There is a huge data center in South Haven, Mississippi, but guess what? It's all self-sustaining. Every single bit of it. So in saying that, we're in a global race for this AI push, okay? AI is going to make our everything more productive. We're going to free up more time. Yes, some of our stuff, a lot of these processes and stuff are going to get automated. I get it, okay? But the genie is out of the bottle. We cannot put that genie back. And everybody's like, oh my God, Terminator. Have you seen Terminator? We know that they narrative seeded a long time ago to get us in fear of something. Way back then. I get it, guys. Skynet, I get all of it, okay? But the genie is not getting put back in the bottle. So Trump said, we're going to lead. We're going to control this thing. So guess what? We have to have data centers to do that with. We have to have the infrastructure to be able to be that leader in innovation. Because guess what? If we lose this AI race, you might as well lock the doors to the United States of America. We will no longer be a superpower. If we lose this race now, we will no longer be a superpower, and China knows that. And all these other countries know that, so guess what? There's a coordinated push in the United States to fear these 4,200 data centers that we already have in the United States. And guess what? Nobody is reading President Trump's executive order. I'm going to save that for Thursday night, though, on Tracing Justice. But let's watch. It's about a 7-minute clip, but just pay attention. This might open your eyes a little bit to all this false propaganda that's going on right now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May 29th, 2026, 10:34 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to ask you a favor. I pretty much stopped cutting videos, or I'm only cutting like a video or two a week. The reason is I have 100,000 followers and I get, 1,800, 3,000 views, so it seems to be a waste of time. So do me a favor.
Hey, Helen on Rumble, thanks for checking in.
On my channel. Like, share, repost. If you like the information in this video. Okay. I want to talk about data centers. However, I need to start from a place of education. Okay. If you're angry about data centers, then I would like you to listen to this entire video. Okay. If you're angry about data centers, you are likely falling victim to Chinese communist propaganda. Okay? They're spending a lot of money in order to get the American people to hate data centers because they are, in fact, trying to win an AI race against us. Okay, that's number one. Okay, when you follow the money, the CCP is spending money in America in order to advance America's hatred of data centers because they want to win the AI race against us. Makes sense, right? Now, if you don't believe that, I'm going to give you some facts about data centers and show my sources. Okay. Fact number one. The first data center in the United States was built in... When was the first data center built in the United States? The first data center was built in 1945 at the University of Pennsylvania. So question number one. Were you aware that you were angry today about technology that is already 81 years old? Did you have that piece of information? Okay. Number two, how many data centers are already currently in the United States of America? Okay. So are you angry about a technology that already exists? Well, let's look. So if you go to the U.S. data center map, we already have 4,102 data centers in the United States. Did you know that? Did you know that you likely already have a data center in your state that you are not affected by? Okay, here's a list. Did you know that you likely already have a data center in your community? Okay. So, if you didn't know that, then you might be believing the CCP propaganda. Okay. Number three, how much water does an air-cooled closed-loop data center use? Okay, because this is the technology that they're building the new data centers with. Air-cooled closed-loop systems use near zero water. Okay, near zero water. When I parsed it out, it's about 1.5 liters of water a day after they do the initial fill. So if you're saying this is going to impact my water, did you know that the new cooling systems don't use water? Okay, did you have that piece of information, or were you believing the Chinese propaganda, right? Now it will use to higher electricity consumption, okay? If we're going to have an honest conversation about data centers, it starts with education first. You're being propagandized, okay? Now you need to know that information, and if you didn't know that information, that you're angry about 81-year-old technology, that's where we need to start. Now we can start to have an honest conversation of it's probably not a good idea to build data centers on agricultural land because food security is national security. That's a worthy discussion, okay? But in order to even start a worthy discussion, you have to first peel back all of the propaganda. Now, from an economic standpoint, okay? Whoever wins the AI race will be the only superpower remaining in the next 50 years. Here's why. Okay? The valuation of the new AI race and the control of the data for Earth has a valuation of about $15.7 trillion to an economy. $15.7 trillion. Okay. Now, what kind of revenue does that generate? Okay, if we win the AI race and everybody's got to come to us for data storage and information, and we control that 15.7 trillion chunk of GDP, what does that do for our lives? Well, that is going to bring in state, federal, local taxes about 4.7 trillion in revenue. About 4.7 trillion in revenue. So if you think about it, when Scott Bessent and some of the leadership say the only way that we can handle the debt is to grow our way out of the debt, Okay? That's specifically what it means. If we win the AI race, we can grow ourselves out of debt. If we get 4.7 trillion in revenue, that just erases the 1.4 trillion in deficit that we currently have because the government spends too much friggin' money, right? And leaves us over 3 trillion to start paying down the debt. Now, China knows that. And that's why China is writing checks to you, the American people, to the American media organizations, in order to get you to hate data centers. But if we're going to have an honest discussion on data centers, it's got to start with understanding that you're being propagandized by an enemy that wants to defeat you. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and repost, right? The reason why I'm doing like one video a week is nobody's seeing them. So if you could help my channel, that'd be most appreciated. Have a great day, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
I mean, yeah, Tony, he's got a point. I just got turned on to this whole thing a couple of days ago, and I started doing more research and more research. And ladies and gentlemen, most of the data centers out there, that's the big argument going, oh my God, look at the Rio Grande. It is dried up because of a data center. No. The data centers that are right around there use a closed loop system where they use the same water over and over and over and over. Do you honestly think that these data centers use this water that has to be treated, number one, every time that it would come into the data center? Okay? And they would just keep using your water over and over and over and over and over and over and over. No. That's not smart, number one. That's not sustainable, number two. They used a closed loop system. Even the older data centers use closed loop systems. Now, let's think, okay? He was saying, yeah, it does use a little bit more of electricity. What has the Department of Defense and the Department of Energy come up with recently? Mini nuke reactors. What has President Trump's executive order on the acceleration of data centers say? All of these data centers must be self-sustaining and produce their own electricity. How could we do that? Mini nuke reactors. It's amazing. Hold on, guys. Sorry, I had to sneeze. It's amazing how when the Department of Energy puts out something and Trump's executive order comes out about data centers, yeah, they've got to be self-sustaining. They can't go off the grid. Our grid already can't handle everything. So now you're saying, okay, Justice, they are taking farmland everywhere. Everywhere. What's going on? Okay, tell me, show me something. Show me a seizure of something. Because in Trump's executive order, it says that we will use already government-owned land for data centers. The new data centers that are coming up. Where do you think we might get this land from? Executive Order 13818, 13848, seizure of property for persons and companies involved in human trafficking. Who is the largest owner of farmland in the United States? Bill Gates. You're being hoodwinked, people. This is a war. This is an information war, and we need data centers. And President Trump has already crafted an executive order and how things are going to be and how we are going to do it and how they are going to be self-sustaining. When did we start listening to the MSM about all this propaganda that they were pushing? Have we not learned anything? Now, my audience out there is smarter than the average bear. But my audience and you and everybody listening needs to go push this information out to your friends and family. All right, let's move on. Real America's Voice. Trump already has a plan. Wayne Allen Root says he sent President Trump a strategy to bypass the SAVE Act roadblocks and claims Trump's team loved the idea, predicting action before the next election. And let's listen to this.
And your ideas are so spot on. You really are on fire. I'm from the state of Kentucky, and Mitch McConnell has been in our way for a while, and now it seems like Boone is in the way. And I thought your idea for what Trump can do to get past this SAVE Act obstructionist that we've got in there with Boone, I was praying that you could get that information to Trump like you've done on other things, and we can try to get this through before the midterms.
Yeah, I did get it to Trump. Everything I write, every commentary you hear on the air, I send directly to Trump's right-hand woman. Not going to say any names. I don't want to give anything away, but she sits right next to President Trump at all times, and she hands everything directly to him. I don't know that he can read everything, because she must hand 10,000 things a day to him, or she must get 10,000, and maybe she hands 1,000, you know? So I can only assume, Batar, there can be no sound, buddy. I assume that he gets everything I send. Sometimes he answers, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he texts, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he calls, sometimes he doesn't. So there's no way of knowing. But usually when I have a good idea, it comes out of his mouth. Within 48 hours, I start hearing him talking about it. And I know I had a great guest on this show 2 weeks ago who is a election expert for President Trump. And Jerome was on the show, and he said President Trump heard it loud and clear. His lawyers looked at it. They love the idea. He's going to do it sometime before the election, declare a national security emergency. So hopefully it's going to happen. Thank you for the call, Michelle from Kentucky. We appreciate your call. Who we got next on the line?
Christine from New York.
Christine from New York. Christine, are you there?
What has Julie Donuts been telling us? There's going to be a national emergency declared. What has Real AF Patriot been telling us? There's going to be a national emergency declared. What has David Clements been telling us? An election expert. There's going to be a national emergency declared. What has Julie Donuts been telling us? There's a draft waiting. Timing is everything. On election integrity. What has Real AF Patriot been telling us? What has Average Joe Patriot been telling us? There's an executive order coming. What has Truther Media been telling you over and over and over? It's coming. We're not going to need the SAVE Act right away. Do you honestly think that these criminals that are representing us in Congress want the SAVE Act? None of them do. Because if the SAVE Act passes, 80 to 90% of them are gone. The fight to keep the lights off is all that matters to them. People, you're not going to see the SAVE Act till after the midterms are over. Until we get our patriots in the position to take back this country, a clean house is important. You're probably not going to see huge name arrest until after the midterms or probably before the midterms. I'm not a prophet. I don't know. I just kind of try to read the tea leaves a little bit on what I'm seeing out there and what's going on and what's still left to come out. The SAVE Act is not going to be the answer to this election. President Trump is going to have to take matters into his own hands. The midterms will be safe. Remember, wartime presidents have broad authority in national emergencies. Question, Cindy says, so is Thune slow walking the SAVE Act under the direction of POTUS? Thune is not for us. He is not working for Trump. I know there's a lot of anons out there that say, oh, this is a big movie and everything's directed. No. Q says moves and counter moves. There would be nothing of moves and counter moves if this was a movie. I agree some of it is scripted. I agree some people are controlled. I agree some of them are wearing a mask. But it's not everything. Not everything is scripted out. Not everybody is a white hat working under direction. Some of them are. But that's not our job to sort all that out. Our job is to spread the word and help people fight against. Yeah, been on the fence about him. He's a bad dude. Believe these people when they tell you who they are. You know, like I say, there's some wild ass theories out there about, oh, Mueller was a white hat. Q told us Mueller was a black hat. That it was false narratives seeded into our movement to get us off track. That we talk about all this crap that don't matter all the time. And get us off the mission. Post 4509. Go look it up. But anyways. Moving on. And we know reports just now, Secretary Markwayne Mullin confirms ICE arrested agitators who came all the way from Portland to stir up chaos outside a Newark facility. These are professional rioters traveling thousands of miles to harass federal agents and push open borders violence. The radical left is organizing nationwide disruption. Post 34, go take a look at it. No more tolerance for this domestic terrorism.
Individuals that came in from Portland, not from New Jersey, came from Portland to lead. We've seen that they've been well supplied. We've seen Antifa flags being flown. And once the state police came out, and which, by the way, awesome group of guys, they understand crowd control very well. And they started pushing the individuals back after they warned them, started making arrests. You saw that the situation quickly got under control. And for us, when we first started calling, they were simply saying they didn't have the resources. And it's interesting to me that they finally found the resources and started clearing their streets. We can control our building. We can provide security for our own building. But if the city and state streets, that is their job to do. However, we will do it if we have to protect our employees.
Did you hear that? Antifa. Antifa tracking started long ago. I don't talk about my military service very much, but I was in the Army. I was an MP in the Guard. And one of my last meetings, way back then, we were talking about Antifa tracking. Antifa tracking started long ago, people. We know all about it. We know where the money goes. We know who funds it. We know everything. Hey, Casey Cole, thank you for checking in. I've seen you over there chatting. And I am so sorry I have not said hi. I said hi to my very, very good friend and Truther Media partner out there. So thank you, Casey. And she has an incredible article about X Money. We never did get to finish it because there's just been so much going on in the news cycle. One of these days we're going to read through that entire thing here on the show, but go check it out. Go to her page and check it out. Guys, Post 34 will eventually come into fruition. Do you remember when I said that this is going to be the summer of love redo? Do you remember that? It's going to be a hot summer, and you're seeing it already tick up. The fight to keep the lights off is all that matters at this point. All assets has been activated, domestic and foreign, when at any means necessary. That is what you're seeing right now. You're seeing the drops play out right before your eyes. We have their playbook already. We know exactly what they're going to be doing. Real AF Patriot reports Tina is free.
Your son giving his life and service to his country. What was it like being in a maximum security prison during this past Memorial Day, ma'am?
Well, this one was a little different than the last one because this one I learned that I was granted clemency. And so I was able to have more joy, but I still did not believe it until actually a day or so before, because I'd been promised so many times, you'll be out in 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Even my crew have done a song called 2 weeks because, and they'll have to share it with you. But, because you get your hope built up and then you're dashed. And this has been going on for, just shy of 2 years. And so I really didn't believe it, but I've always had hope. God's always given me the hope and the strength to endure. Seeing our country at 250 years gives me hope with the people standing up. My concern is, and as I watch this happening and everyone celebrating, is that I see these elections that are taking place in real time. The Mondamis, the Virginia governor Spanberger, and and then what's going on in California and Texas and Maine, just all over the country. And I know that the Democrats are going to cheat. And no one's really addressing the problem that I spent my time in prison as retribution for, and that was exposing the election machines that allow the votes to be flipped. So that's the thing that I really, as we're coming up to our 250-year anniversary, I'm joyful that we still have our liberty. But at the same time, I'm very concerned and burdened with why no one is talking about this. And I've written President Trump. I've written 2 letters since I was in prison, and I'm very grateful for everyone that wrote to me. But I wrote 2 letters while I was there, and they both were to our great President Trump. And I want to tell him thank you for the efforts he put in to draw attention also to my situation. But coming up I'm happy I'm going to be out on July 4th. I'm very happy about that. So I'll be able to celebrate with all of you, just enjoy and be part of the celebration of our nation, our great nation. There's none like us in the world.
Timing is everything. Let's give Tina a little bit of time to recover and recoup. I honestly believe that she has been held in reserve for what the disclosure about the 2020 election and our election systems. that she is going to bring to the table. It's going to be a hot summer. You know, they did everything they could to hold Tina Peters in that jail. Deborah, Kim, Andrea, Sarah, Lana, Tracy, thank you for so much love over there on Facebook. I very, very much appreciate that. And I saw Rhea check in. So good morning, Rhea. And let's see who else we got. Let's see, Pamela over there on X and Jen Barksdale. Thank you so much for checking in over there. I think I'm caught up. If I've missed you, I'm sorry. We don't have City Mouse. I know I was talking to you earlier, so thank you for checking in over there on Rumble as well. Guys, I don't have a producer, so I have to do all of this myself. So sometimes I miss things. So if I missed you, I apologize. I didn't mean to. Casey Cole says Tina is incredible. Very few people would actually go to jail for their beliefs and convictions. Absolutely. And Howard Duck One says, greetings from Arizona. Hello, Patriots. And thank you so much, Howard, for checking in over there on Rumble. So let's keep rolling, guys. Real AF Patriot reports, we are about to come full circle. Those envelopes marked them. There is no coincidence that each moment of them discovering their envelopes is so perfectly and beautifully captured. The hunters become the hunted, and they got caught. Hey, Mary, thanks for checking in. So let me give you a little bit of backstory about that because I saw some questions going on in the chat about this video. So this was John McCain's funeral. We call him No Name. You know, he was the one that voted down the repeal of Obamacare. Remember that? Shortly after he died. So Q was posting about D5 before this happened. D5 is a class of avalanche. It's the most destructive avalanche that there was. But double meanings exist. And the CIA back in the day was all over the chans where Q was posting at, trying to decipher what was going on. D5, 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 it's coming. D5, D5. So the deep state knew that a flood of information was coming. So what did they do? They sacrificed one of their own to change the narrative, to change the story. D5. When did this occur? December 5th. Q shortly then said, follow the wives. If you also notice in that video, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Bush's, they did not get an envelope. Who got the envelopes? The wives did. Follow the wives. Q said that before the funeral. Everybody's like, what were in the envelopes? So they used John McCain and sacrificed him to stop the flood of avalanche of information that was going to hit the airwaves. They changed the narrative. That was our promise to counter. And will we counter? Yes, we will counter. Timing is everything. Geek4 says D5 is also the most fought after square on a chessboard. Absolutely. I'm sorry. I've got chills thinking about it because I remember back in the day when that happens. When that happened. Follow the wives. We were like, what? When we found out. Well, moving on, guys. Real AF Patriot also says they thought they got away with this right here.
I'm going to send it to Bill.
This lady is marking the ballots. I filmed her a half hour ago doing 6, and she's still working at it. Let's stamp it, received, and let's fill in our 6 blanks. All at the top of the tickets on each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's a security guard right there who's watching her. The cops are in on it. Disgusting.
Sorry about that, guys. Earlier, I was saying John McCain. I don't know what was coming over me. Again, this is my Monday. That was George Bush's funeral. So I was like thinking to myself, something's wrong with what I'm saying. And I was like, yeah, this is my Monday. So that was a delight. Yes, exactly. I am so sorry about that, guys. I don't know why I was thinking John McCain on that. But anyways, so you saw that video right there. They're all in on it. Timing is everything. All of this is coming out. The Tina Peters, getting released now. Yeah, Dutch Rumbler says they're all in on it. All of them are in on it. Absolutely. Yeah, guys, I apologize. It's my Monday. I've been off camera for so long, and what happened was I was researching something back in the day on John McCain, about Obamacare and everything before I went on the show, and I don't know. I guess I just had John McCain in my head, so I apologize about that, guys. They're not going to get away with it, guys. This voting fraud. Do you honestly think that people that overthrew our U.S. government is going to get away with it? I don't think so. Gunther says, breaking. Leftist mobs gets nipped in the bud at Delaney Hall Detention Center. Radical protesters torch themselves, attacking ICE while Tom Holdman and ICE stand strong. After days of violent clashes and chaos outside of New Jersey Delaney Hall ICE facility, Monday night was noticeably calmer after the governor's temper tantrum and paid agitators were put in check. Border czar Tom Holdman showed up and made it crystal clear this facility isn't going anywhere. A lot of the detainees inside can't even be released due to federal law. The radical left can scream all they want. America is done putting criminal invaders first. Protesters who threw projectiles, assaulted officers, and threatened to kill ICE agents and their family was arrested.
Days of tense clashes outside the Delaney Hall Detention Center, which happened over the weekend, and that is when border czar Tom Homan paid a visit.
That facility is well run, and the governor keeps saying she's going to keep raising hell if that facility shuts down. Well, I got news for the governor. That facility isn't going anywhere. As a matter of fact, a lot of the people in that facility we couldn't release because they're mandatorily detained by federal statute. So we couldn't release them if we even wanted to.
Trump administration officials standing by the facility's operations as protesters continue to claim Delaney Hall is being poorly run. They've gathered since Memorial Day weekend. Monday night, the protesters mostly complied with the city's mandatory curfew, which was put in place Sunday morning after dozens were arrested. At one point, officers had to move in using riot gear as people threw projectiles and lit fires in the street. Yesterday, a Brooklyn man appeared in federal court. He's now facing multiple charges for threatening to kill an ICE agent and the agent's family.
We have zero tolerance. The president and I have talked about this. If you verbally assault our officers, if you attack our vehicles, if you attack our property, you attack the person themselves, we will arrest you.
The mayor of Newark, New Jersey is scheduled to hold a news conference later this morning to give an update on Delaney Hall. Lawrence, we will be monitoring and have any updates on new details. Back to you.
Thanks so much, CB. All right, let's bring in retired FBI supervisory special agent, Fox News contributor James Galliano. Brother, it's good to see you. So I saw your op-ed that you wrote the other day, and I think it's truly telling. This is what you said. I saw how leftists scarred our Vietnam vets. Anti-ICE mobs are repeating history. What do you mean by that?
Well, LJ, first of all, good morning. Good to join you. Yes, sadly, I see a symmetry here. And I witnessed it as a young kid when my father came back from Vietnam in 1967. And folks on the left, the counterculture hippies, decided to throw human excrement at the men that were getting off their plane at LAX out in California. And it's the same thing now. I got to say this, as a retired law enforcement officer and as a person who is a family member that works for the Department of Homeland Security, it's refreshing to see the secretary get out there and say zero tolerance. It's refreshing to see the acting attorney general, Todd Blanche, say, if you scream at agents and threaten their lives and their families' lives, we'll use facial recognition technology, we'll track you down, and we'll bring you to account. Lawrence, it's necessary, and I'm glad to see that this administration is taking this seriously.
So the administration is taking it seriously. You got a competent Secretary of Homeland Security. That matters a lot. You got Tom Homan that is leading many of these operations. He even went so far to even eat the food to prove a point that it is totally edible. But then you look on the other side, and this is what Cory Booker is saying. He says that ICE is out of control. This is the statement he put out. The reinstatement of family visits at Delaney Hall is overdue, and I'm grateful for the Governor Cheryl's work to help reinstate them. These visits never should have been suspended in the first place. I will continue to work with my colleagues in the congressional delegation to close this facility, and I won't vote for another dollar to reckless and out of control ICE. So 2 points on this, James. First of all, they had the visits before, but they had these protesters outside that were barricading the exits back and forth, so it was a security issue. But number two, it seems like this is the ultimate goal here, is to shut these detention facilities down.
Yeah, you're spot on there. Okay, so 2 things. One, these are not spontaneous, populist, organic uprisings of the people. These are financed, whether they're international billionaires that have leftist leanings or folks in groups here in the United States, extremist groups. They're not organic. These folks are funded and they're well taken care of to cause havoc. Number 2, Delaney Hall is a 1,000-bed private facility that is run by ICE. I believe it's the largest one on the East Coast, and it's doing exactly what it's charged to do. A number of politicians have been given tours there and said the food there is better than in our American prisons. The fact that the health department went through and gave it high ratings the other day. The inmates there are allowed to play soccer on manicured fields. This hysteria is partisan politics, and again, you've got to stop this early. If you allow these protesters, like happened in Minneapolis, or during the Summer of Love back in 2020, to continue this, it'll just create more.
That's what they want it to be, is Minneapolis. I'm glad it was nipped in the bud, though. James, thanks so much for joining the program.
Thanks, LJ.
Hey, you're Durango. Thanks for checking in over there on Rumble. Did you just hear that? The Summer of Love again? Thanks, Tony, for watching us over there on X. He's got to get to work. I understand. I do too as well. So I've got one more thing that I want to go over. I'm going to skip through a couple of the things that I did have lined up for you, but I think this is important to go over. So let's check this out. The Department of War CTO comes in yesterday and says, GM, good morning. Trust the plan. So you got a lot of people out there, and I'm just going to say this, and you might not be happy with me over this, okay? But I'm sorry. This is just the way I see it. You got a lot of these so-called MAGA candidates out there that are not getting the Trump endorsement. And everybody's like, what's going on? Why didn't Trump give him an endorsement? I'm going to vote for him anyways. Trust the plan. Trust President Trump's endorsements. Trust his picks. There is a plan. If you don't know there's a plan to take back our country right now, I don't know where you've been. So I just think it's so funny that all these anons out there are like, no, we need this person. Even though President Trump's saying we need this person, we really need this person. I get it. They might be a great candidate, but they're not part of the plan. Or are they injected into our community to create that division, to soak up votes from where they need to go. Guys, I know a lot of you like these MAGA candidates out there that's not getting the Trump endorsement. I get it. They seem like they're really good people on the surface. But what you have to remember is that Trump has it all. People say, Byron Donalds? Oh. Do you know that Byron Donalds may be controlled at this point? Yeah, exactly. Ronald says over there on X, exactly. Think Massey. You know, y'all flamed me. Not y'all, but people out on X flamed me for going against Massey last year. You got to dig into some of these candidates. Pamela Kay and Helen also come in on their subscription to Tracing Justice channel over there on Rumble. So thank you for helping us keep the lights on. I very, very much appreciate that. So when you're out there voting today, especially over there in California, I know that Steve Hilton is probably not your first pick, but Trump endorsed him way back. Okay? I know Hilton may have a past. Maybe Hilton cut a deal with President Trump and said, all right, I'll do whatever you want me to do, President Trump. Bet. That guy can win the general election. The other dude that's running over there, sheriff, whatever his name is, probably can't win the general election. Let's just be real, people. He might be a huge stand-up guy, but he does not have the Trump endorsement. And that means something. That means that he is not part of the plan, at least right now. Yeah, American GG, we have a rhino problem in the Magnolia State. I do agree with that. I think at this point in Mississippi, you just need to go with your gut. You need to go with on your research and do who you think is best, because I think at this point right now that the Mississippi is going to be taken care of. They're probably going to cut some deals somewhere. They're going to do what President Trump wants them to do. There's a reason that President Trump is not worried about it right now in Mississippi. I get it. I'm a Mississippi resident as well. But again, coming back to what I was saying is, these candidates may be good, like Doc Pete Chambers. He's not part of the plan, evidently. We're not, at least right now. The plan was Abbott got endorsed by Trump. That carries weight. Abbott's probably controlled. I know he's got a sketchy past. I get it. I understand that. But you got to have a candidate, too, that can win the general. Okay? Trust your president. He has yet to fail us. And every time that we doubt him in his picks and who he appoints to his cabinet, we're just proven wrong later. Weeks, months, days later, and the light bulb goes off and says, oh, he was right, and this is why. But let's go back to this again before I wrap up. Trust the plan. GM. GM is a non-term. GM means good morning. It's been used for a long time, okay? So here's what I decoded this. And it was by keyword trust the plan. Q post 778. Q quotes itself off post 777 on this. Why is Big Pharma essential? Expand your thinking past cures. Think Google new Pixel phone. Think Apple versus Samsung. Why was BlackBerry destroyed? We can guide you, but you must organically uncover the truth. They are watching. Archive everything offline. And here was the follow-up. Why is everything really made in China? Cost savings? Why is POTUS focused on SA, China, Russia? Why? Why is Russia being used against POTUS? Why Russia? What damage can Russia do to the Dems? Okay, let's think. Back during Hillary Clinton's term, what did she try to do? The reset with Russia? Why? The Uranium One deal. What are we going through right now? Trying to get the nuclear dust from Iran. Why? Because it's going to link Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama in treason, in giving uranium to the Iranians through a pipeline. Who was in that pipeline? Russia. What damage can China do to the Dems? Think Hunter Biden. Think the Bidens. All of them. Iran? Question mark. North Korea? Question mark. Where did North Korea get their uranium from? Uranium One, maybe? What damage can China do to the Dems? Who really controlled North Korea before we stepped over that line with POTUS? Why does Hussein travel before and after POTUS RE foreign trips? Think about where he just went, folks. It was all over the news. He went to Canada to meet with the Prime Minister. Why? The uranium first stop was in Canada. What is fixing to happen right now as we speak? Uranium One is about to be uncovered. Use logic. Why is POTUS focused on bringing back manufacturing? Jobs, security, control, true control. Who can you trust? The world is not how you view it. Trust the plan. We are winning. Arrest will come. Logic should always answer why it must follow other unfolding events. Learn and spread. Build proofs. We provided many proofs that cannot be disputed as coincidences. This will be done for a reason. More will be provided. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what you are seeing right now from our administration and all these gray checkmark accounts. Proof after proof after proof after proof. This is a military operation by the Q team. Direct confirmation will come. It cannot come now. It will be lost. The message is not ready. You are part of the army. We are depending on you for God and country. Where we go one, we go all. Stay safe this week. Q. All of it relevant today. Every single bit of it is relevant. Stay on mission. Keep trying to white pill people. Keep trying to red pill people. Keep trying to spread the news out there. Push against the Chinese propaganda out there from the CCP about these data centers and all of this junk. Tell people about all the arrests that are going on that I highlight daily for you in Dawning Justice. This show is for a reason. It's to give you the ammunition to put in your clip to go out there and shoot bullets. All right, guys, that is all I have today. And listen, guys, if you're a coffee drinker, check out dawningcoffee.com. It's by Hunter's Blend Coffee. Patriot company through and through. I mean, their slogan is the Great Awakening. Welcome to the Great Awakening. It don't get any more patriot than that. So go check it out. dawningcoffee.com. repost.com. And what we're going to do is we're going to end in prayer. I'm going to raid you over to the Real AF Patriots channel for Keeping It Real, coming on at noon Eastern, 11 my time. And if you're like, well, I'm not on Rumble, but I'm on YouTube and I'm on X, guys, go to truthermedia.com and you can see all of our shows, and everything is laid out there. Links, you can click right into it and get right into the show. Pamela, this is a labor of love. It's truly a labor of love. She said, thank you for all your hard work. I thank you guys for coming in here and waking up with me and watching. And just a little bit of background. I forgot to say this. A Dutch Rumbler said, thanks, Josh. I assume Tracy's in the background. So here's a little bit of information for this week, guys. We're not doing fellowship in the Word tonight. And let me tell you why. Is because this is our daughter's third baby. She has 3 now under the age of 3, working themselves down. She just had a C-section and her husband works off. We just got back and we swung by and we picked all of them up and they're staying with us this week. She is recovering. Again, like I said, she's having a C-section. So Tracy is helping out with the grandkids here at our house through this week. So she has not been able to put together a Bible study for this week. She got about halfway through it and she just can't find time to finish it because there's just so much going on in our lives right now, guys. So just say a little prayer for us that, everything, gets back on track and gets smooth. But we are so blessed to be able to help them through, this tough time and her recovery and stuff. So we are going to aim to be back on Fellowship in the Word next week. But for this week, we're going to have to take a quick pause. I am not pausing any this week, though, myself. We will have Dawning Justice every morning, Lord willing. And we're going to be having Tracing Justice at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. And I will be appearing, and Tracy may make a guest appearance too on Signal Over Noise Friday at 8 p.m. this week, because we've got an incredible show to bring you there. So just pray for my wife. Pray for my daughter that she heals up, and pray for our grandkids that they acclimate and they adjust to everything that's going on in their little lives as well. So thank you guys. I appreciate all of the prayers out there. So speaking of, let's end in prayer. Lord, I come to you in Jesus' name. Lord, hallowed be thy name, Lord. Thank you for everything that you have given us, Lord. Thank you for the house that you've given us, our internet that we use. Thank you for our cell phones. Thank you for our cars. Thank you for the food that you put on the table. Thank you for the money that we get from our jobs to be able to pay our bills with. We thank you for everything, and we most thank you for giving us this earth, Lord. We thank you, and we know that the one mission that you put before us is to spread your word, Lord, about you sending your son to die on the cross for all of our sins, because we know, Lord, that the one thing that you want most of anything is you want to be with us in heaven, Lord. But we can only do that if we go out and witness to people, Lord. So please give us the strength and the wisdom and the courage and the knowledge to be able to do that for you, Lord. And also help us be productive in our jobs, Lord. Help us be productive in our day-to-day lives, Lord. Help us work towards what you want us to work on, Lord, not what our selfish interests want us to work on, Lord, but what you put before us and what we need to do. Because we know when we are out of alignment with you, that our lives usually don't end well, Lord. And I thank you again, Lord, for everything that you do for us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much, and I will see you back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern right here on Dawning Justice on your favorite platform out there. So I'm everywhere. Just make sure if you want to find me and you want to find our show schedule, you can go two places, truthermedia.com or tracingjustice.com. And all of our sponsors are there on tracingjustice.com as well, if you forget the easy to remember websites. So thank you again. And remember, let's go make fishers of men. Let's go save some souls. And let's go save our republic. See you tomorrow, guys.
You thought you could bury me. Thought the dark would close in. You were wrong. You don't know who I am. And you never in the dirt and flame. They said I'd break, said I'd shame. Whispered threats through a locked back door, but I've heard sound before. You pushed and pulled, tried to crack my back, but I don't collapse like that. I don't run, I don't bend, I don't bow to fear of men. When the dust clears, you'll see you never buried me. We're not backing down. We're holding the line. Truth will be heard, not just whispered in time. You can't stop this. We will not fall. When justice rises, it answers the call. You thought you knew what I stood on, but this ground's been here too long. Stealing the blood, fire and breath. I don't scare easy at talk of death. You don't know the weight I carry, or the hand that stands behind me. You can shout, you can lie, try to crucify, but chains you swing and stones you throw only make the pressure grow. We're not backing down. We're holding the line. Truth will be heard in its own time. You can't stop us. We will not fall. Justice is coming, and it's coming for all. You thought you could take me down. You don't know who I am. I don't stand alone. God holds my sword of truth.